Hi there, viewers and gamers alike out there, and welcome back for more of Arkham Twin Days of Spider-Man Web of Shadows, as we're going to continue of more of the storyline of the Web of Shadows and the lore, if you want to know. So he's going to work with Moon Knight, of course. Because even though he has this swift kind of friendly justice, even though he is in somewhat of a psychotic way, but even though he is kinda sane, but he still wants to do justice for others, which works. So now that he is able to work with Moon Knight, and he's telling him how to stop with these new weapons and heavily armed arm plating of weapons of heavily armed reinforcements, and also the abilities that these Iron Man knockoffs will be able to walk on the walls like a spider would. This interests Spider-Man so much, I think he is going to enjoy himself. So yay! Oh my. So now that he's going to after against the Kingpin's forces that are going to go walk through walls, oh yeah, walking through the walls, if my bad, because I was kind of lost in thought. So yeah, walking through the walls, well, not walking through, walk on the walls. There's only one thing left to do, is to find the one who works with Kingpin's associates, and it's none other than the Vulture. Of course, he has something to do that's connecting with these guys, of course. They got with the Iron Man knockoffs. However, Vulture doesn't like any visitors coming to see him. He told Spider-Man to leave at once, but I don't think Spider-Man's not gonna leave at once because he knows that he's working for Kingpin, also known whose name is Wilson Fisk. And so they have another battle. Of course, up going high in the sky, Spider-Man may not be able to fly, but he is able to make a web line straight to the sky, even though he can't fly, and is able to get straight to the Vulture. Well, Vulture, a.k.a. Adrian Toomes. Things are not gonna go so well with the Vulture. I wonder why. It's because if things do not go well with the Vulture by solving this predicament, by stopping Spider-Man working for the Kingpin, of course the Kingpin would love to deny that the Vulture is not working for him, of course. Yet somehow he denies it, which he likes to make complete total cover of lies, and by saying this type, when using plausible deniability, he loves to do some great responses by not having a part, even though he has a part of it, which he denies, but he knows he is. But knows he cannot hide the truth, even though he's using plausible deniability, and it is not fun for the Kingpin, or because Spider-Man will love to concentrate by distracting him with cupcakes. So the Vulture is now defeated. Thank you very much. The Vulture is now defeated. So, if you choose the path of what happens with the... Ooh. So, the Vulture. If you go with the Pansy side, which is the light path, you may get the good type of ending. Well, I'm not saying the bad type. If you choose the dark path of, you know, that which means vice, of course, I'm going to say, oh my, I'm guessing the Vulture now works with you instead of Kingpin. So, yeah. Oh my. Why does the Kingpin would love to make connections to things that don't trace him, but it'll straight tracing back to the Kingpin himself? I guess this is why he likes to have plausible deniability, is what you're asking. So now that the Vulture's out of the question, whether it's up to you, you go back with Moon Knight. But Moon Knight's telling that you're not done, and now he's telling you that he's sending out these giant mech robots. Why with the giant mech robots, of course? I don't know. I'm guessing he's already prepared to not to have a good liking with Spider-Man anyways. Just things may not go simple enough. Oh my. Because you know how this goes when the Kingpin would like to draw attention to himself. So, now that the Kingpin's out of the sending out more of his crazy robots, Moon Knight finds something or detects something that there's another incident going on. He said there's strange things are going on in Hell's Kitchen. Go there at once. And so, alright, Spider-Man says, thanks for the tip. So he's going to Hell's Kitchen, which is a place in New York that does exist in real life. He goes there, and then he kind of does this detective work as a gumshoe by speaking to himself, by breaking in the fourth wall as your friendly neighborhood webbed hero. And he knew that it was Venom's fault. And of course, Peter had to tell Mary Jane that something is going on. It's different this time. It was Venom. I think he's trying to reproduce things that's not as good. So he has to find a way to stop Venom or find the source. And that is where he's going to, the one place of that district town in New York, Hell's Kitchen. So now that he is able to get there, he noticed that something is going on, and he said his spider sense is going crazy, and then he detects a strange being with claws. And guess who that being is? And it's none other than Wolverine, a member of the X-Men and a member of the Avengers. So what does Wolverine was doing here anyways? Oh boy, I seem to realize that Wolverine is kinda not in a good mood. He realized that something is wrong with Spider-Man because he can smell the symbiote inside him. And it's like, wait a minute. You can smell? And he says, yes. And he says, yes, and you're one of them, bub. They're like, oh no. He's gonna gut Spider-Man like on Thanksgiving. That is not good news. This is bad news for Spider-Man. Oh my. So there'll be this heated battle with Wolverine, and he's gonna give out a couple of questions. First he says, what are your parents' names? Of course, that is up to you, but if you chose the wrong answer, you go to the dark path. If you choose the right answer, which I went to, you would say Richard and Mary, which is not a part of my online Wikidate profile. And Wolverine says, my nose doesn't lie. And then he gives out the second question, and he said, okay. What was that other question? Despite if I can try to remember. Oh yeah, he says this. Whose killers did we track them in Berlin? And he knows it's Ned Leeds, and he says, you have to remind me of Ned again. And he says, maybe you are telling the truth. And then before he answers another question, these crazy symbiote creatures kind of showed up out of nowhere. I'm guessing those were human or those are black. But before he fought Wolverine, the strange things that were going on, because these crazy humans were acting so weird, they can be able to climb and walk on the walls like it was nothing. And you can see that they're filled with this black goo. It's got to be venom. And that is not a good sign. And it is not cool. Of course, Moon Knight wasn't really happy of what was going on. And Spider-Man kind of told him, well, I didn't want anybody to get hurt, but there's something going on. So, yeah. So, unbelievable. So, to prove what he said about his innocence, he knows that he has to uncover the truth of what's behind of Venom's plans again. So, here we go again. Venom's plans to create more symbiotic creatures to having a planned parenthood. Now that this kind of serves to know that Venom is behind this, now that he's going to battle with Wolverine, he goes asking with another couple of questions. And he says, where did you get the black suit? And he answered this, Battle World. It's not very peaceful there. And he says, maybe you are Spider-Man. And yeah, maybe he is Spider-Man. Of course, once again, if you try to answer incorrectly, Wolverine is not gonna be happy of how you answer that way, and it's not even funny. Oh my. And now the fourth question is coming up on this one. So, okay, the fourth question, oh yeah. He says, who declined joining the new Avengers? Of course, the answer and the obvious one is this. The guy with the red horns, duh, which would be Daredevil. And he says, I'm listening. And still with the fighting against Wolverine. And Wolverine says, here we go again! And you see more of these symbiotic creatures coming in out of nowhere from the top of the on the side of the buildings from on top. And then you have to answer another couple of questions. This one's the fifth. And he said, what is critical mass? And critical mass would be that blob wannabe with the electrical fingertips. And he's gonna say, you're not yourself. And then finally he will answer one last question. And he says this. And his question is the biggie. And he answers to Spider-Man and says, Who serves us roast and pie? And he says, Aunt May. When you showed up at the doorstep, when you showed up at our doorstep, you knew who we are. Very creepy and weird. And Wolverine says, I see some strange things going on tonight. And he knew at the very moment that it is none other than Spider-Man, because even though he has the black suit, that is a fun way of saying hello to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if you're Wolverine. And he was finally glad that it was over without gutting him. But Wolverine suggested him then saying, if that thing takes over you completely, gutting is still an option. Got me? Yeah, he got the picture, and you see the claws. It's like, okay, I get it. We can do that, but without the cutting for now. But in the near future, you may. So there's one thing he has to find a way to detect those symbiotic creatures without revealing yourself. Wolverine may have a smart idea, even though it's a crazy one, but it should work. He tells him to say, try on the black suit. Maybe that's the key. And Spider-Man says, okay. And Wolverine says, concentrate. Okay, so he tries the black suit on. And guess what? He is able to concentrate wicked hard and is able to do it. Says, yeah, he's got it. He got the black suit on, is able to activate this type of spider sense, and he is able to locate those black symbiotes that were in hiding for those people who disguise as regular normal human beings, but on the inside, they're covered in the black goo. So what does he have to do? Well, it's simple. He has to stop them, or else those people are the civilians who are disguising themselves as normal civilians will get the jump on them with the black goo symbiote. Thanks to the helping efforts of Wolverine, it's not a problem. And then Wolverine says something else about this place is really starting to stink. And Spider-Man says, and you're telling me that you're complaining all about odors. And he says, no, I'm telling you that these symbiotes are actually starting to get on my nerves, or something like that. When you put it, and he says, it seems that a very large number is quite growing often. And Wolverine says, if we don't stop this, the city will fall into chaos. And Spider-Man says, I think we achieved chaos a little while ago. And Wolverine talked to him and say, how about a little less joking and a little more fighting? And Spider says, okay. He says, look, we don't know where the sources of these people. I'm pretty sure Venom's behind this. He's hiding around in the dark somewhere. And Wolverine tells him to use that spider sense of yours once you're in the black suit and get them out of hiding. That way, once they come out of hiding, there's no way for them to run and hide anymore. Of course, there was this little fun gesture between Spider-Man and Wolverine about MySpace. And okay, he says Spider-Man tells Wolverine with this funny comment, and he says, "So, what do you think of the new duds?" And Wolverine says, "There's some type of dang superhero." He says, "This some type of dang superhero fashion show." Because I got some orange and brown tights that put you to shame. Says, like, what? Not a big fan of the new me? Like, and then Wolverine spoke out and to say, first off, you smell like death. Second, you act like one of those emo kitties who are gibbering all over the internet to show how hard their life is when they never even know true pain. And yes, this absolutely concludes that Wolverine has a MySpace page. Dark. And Wolverine says, I do not. And Spider-Man says, you totally do. Wolverine says, shut up, kid. But Spider-Man continues the conversation. Will you add me on your face? Will you add me on your friend as a MySpace page? I'll poke you and you poke me back like Facebook. And Wolverine says, I said, shut up! I love it. I love the conversation between Wolverine and Spider-Man. They have something in common, but it was funny. But I think we are going to stop here for the time being. And don't worry, we are going to continue to pick up from where we left off for more of Arkham Twin Days of the Spider-Man lore of Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And tell me, what do you guys think of Spider-Man Web of Shadows? Do you like it or hate it? And mash that like button or share this video if you guys still love Arkham Twin Days, such as myself. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational special being, and not to mention your friendly neighborhood Spider Cop, who takes chances, making mistakes and getting messy, like peanut butter and chocolate or breakfast for dinner. To get the job done is for a hero's duty work. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember, always fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. And see you guys next time for more of Arkham